Hi, this is Alex Mitchell from Go Tech Yourself, and today we're talking about the 7 habits of a highly effective product manager. So again, that's me, Alex Mitchell, Chief Product Officer of ICX Media. You can find a lot from me on Twitter, on Medium, where I write pretty frequently about topics like this. Also have a newsletter that I publish a couple times a month, a few books on Amazon in the product management space, and then this YouTube channel. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Please like this video. Please share it with your friends, coworkers, family, whoever can get helped by it in the product tech community. I really appreciate it, especially as I'm trying to get this channel off the ground. So today's topic, again, is those 7 habits. So I was inspired here by Stephen Covey's novel that you may kind of recognize this play on words from, but the 7 habits of highly effective people. And I wanted to take that same approach and kind of take the 7 habits I've seen in the most effective product managers that I've worked with in my career. So worked for a few different companies at this point, seen many different types of product managers, many different backgrounds, whether they were developers, whether they were marketers before, whether they were, analysts before. But even though they have those different backgrounds, I saw some similarities in those habits they bring that make them highly effective. So we're going to go through 7 habits. And honestly, if you have 4 or 5 of these, you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well in your product career. You can definitely, improve, level up. But the best people I've seen have 6. I don't even know if I've really ever seen someone who nails all 7. That's a really high bar. So keep that in mind as we go through. Don't feel bad if you don't have all of these. We all have things we can definitely work on. So the first one here I'm going to jump into with the 7 habits is extreme generalist. So this is something when I think about a great, highly effective product manager, they know enough to be dangerous in many areas. You kind of have to have that as a product manager. You're working with designers, you're working with engineers, you're working with the business, the leaders of the business, the sales team, the marketers. There's so many people you work with. You have to have enough skill and enough knowledge in their area to be able to communicate with them, to be able to understand what they need from you, the information, the dates, the timing, the roadmap, whatever it is, you need to be able to communicate with them. But you don't have to be a specialist in really any of these areas. It's kind of your role to more work with those specialists, to find them, to rely on those experts in tech, in marketing, in design. Make sure you communicate with them, but then let them be the ones to obviously do the work, to kind of take that direction, because they are experts and you are not. So extreme generalists. And then the thing I found about product managers, though, is as quarters go or as months go, and the business shifts or the product features you're working on shift, a great product manager, a really highly effective one, has the ability to go very deep when needed into an area or two. So maybe this quarter your team is working on automation, or is working on a machine learning model integration. Just kind of a couple real world examples. The product manager maybe still won't be the end all be all expert there. You'll still, of course, rely on your data scientists or your senior engineers, but that product manager should very quickly go deep in those areas, right? They should actually see them coming, and they should start learning more ahead of time as part of their research and as part of their planning. That could even be taking courses, that could be going to conferences, that could be engaging people at other companies who have done similar things before. But that 1 or 2 areas, and I've kind of found this happens on almost a quarterly basis, those shift. Sometimes they stay the same for longer, but a great product manager is not just that extreme generalist, but they're able to kind of rapidly learn in those 1 or 2 areas each quarter. Another thing that makes a highly effective product manager, really at every company I've seen, is someone who's a master prioritizer. It's almost a cliche at this point that product is so much about prioritization, but it really covers a lot, right? It's prioritizing, what your team is working on day to day, week to week. It's prioritizing, the goals that you're trying to attack in the business. It's prioritizing pretty much everything consistently. And in your head as a highly effective product manager, you're always evaluating adjustments, right? You're always thinking about new opportunities versus, what you were doing before. And this is a daily thought pattern for a product manager. It's really important, though, to note that you're not going to be a highly effective product manager if you change things on your team every day. But those should be churning in your head. You want to be deliberate about the way you communicate, deliberate about the way you plan with your team, so you're not, context switching them all over the place. But you should always be evaluating those changes. You're always running this mental model where you're making sure that you're prioritized as effectively as you can be. So, master prioritizer, is one of the key talents of a highly effective product manager. Another thing that a highly effective product manager is great at is saying no. I have it here. They say no at least 10 times as often as they say yes, might be even more. I think that's probably an understatement, if anything. It's worth noting that no can take many, many different forms out there. It's not always just saying no. I think that would probably be the worst thing you could do in a lot of cases, but it's kind of taking in ideas, giving people feedback that, this is going to end up in, a backlog that you're going to prioritize. This will be something maybe you evaluate with customers on your own time as a product manager instead of putting it in front of your team or before putting it in front of your team. There are a lot of ways to, kind of take that information respectfully, but not commit to doing it on a timeline or doing it without enough feedback or doing it without thinking about the prioritization. So you're going to get bombarded as a product manager with a ton of great ideas, ton of good ideas, ton of bad ideas. It's kind of your job to sort through all of it and not commit to work on all those ideas because you honestly can't, and you'll drive your team crazy. So highly effective product managers say no a lot, but also capture a lot of ideas. Highly effective product managers also have a great passion for their product. It's something that is palpable if you work with one of these product managers. You see their energy, the energy rubs off on their team, it even rubs off on the company. And this passion is great because it just unlocks creativity across the board. When someone's passionate, they're thinking about this product when they wake up in the middle of the night, when they, are on the weekend. They might just have some random thoughts about the product because they love it so much. It's part of them. It's part of what they really enjoy. So these highly effective product managers, have this passion, and really it allows them to just be more creative and unlock better opportunities for their product than someone who's just, creating tickets and, monitoring a project. This is such a level above that. And you'll know when you may even think of one right now, if you're, already working for a tech company in a product role, someone who embodies this passion for the product. Highly effective product managers also have this adaptive focus on the past, the present, and the future. So as a product manager, you're going to spend time in these three different worlds. You're going to spend variable amounts of time in the three different worlds. A lot of time you may be living in the present. When you're getting near the end of the quarter, you might be living more in the future as you're thinking about planning. You might also be living in the past because you're reviewing your metrics and trends over time. So a highly effective product manager knows the right amount of time to spend here. And there's no set rule, but they're able to kind of feel out, should I be thinking more about, that historical data? Is that going to help me more? Should I be thinking more about the future products we have to build and the market opportunity? Should I be just listening to customers right now, kind of living in the present and watching performance there? They're able to answer all those questions well and honestly shift their kind of pie chart of the time they spend in each of those areas pretty adaptively at the right time. Highly effective product managers are also constant evangelists. So similar to that passion that we mentioned before, these product managers are always kind of pitching their product. They're always kind of pitching that product to the team. They're pitching the future of the product to the team many times, to executives, to people who are buying from you today or who aren't buying from you, maybe even people outside your company that you're trying to hire. And the reason they do this is, one, they want to, of course, get their product and company out there more. But honestly, they're always looking for feedback. They're always looking for ideas from these other people. They're always looking for someone to, ask about that next feature or suggest, oh, you should talk with this person, or you should really think about these things. It sounds similar, sounds like an opportunity for you. So by being that evangelist, by getting the name out there, the features out there, they're actually creating a really good pipeline for feedback. So this is something I've seen in those really highly effective product managers. And the last one here is a constant learner. So if you think back to that extreme generalist I mentioned before, I mentioned that at times, right, probably each quarter, there might be one or two new skills that you have to go really deep on. My example, machine learning, in order to help your team. So as you see those things on the horizon, you recognize them and you start learning. You start learning those things. And this is a constant cycle. There will always be a future thing coming up. There will always be something you should be learning. It's easier than ever, whether it's learning from other product managers out there, other mentors, or learning, something a bit more technical from, an online free code school. There's really so many easy ways to learn, and product is just so rapidly changing. Tech is so rapidly changing. You need to attack any shortcomings you have or any knowledge you're missing at that right time, and it'll help you just be a better product manager, be really highly effective for your teams. So I'd love to hear what other habits you've seen in other highly effective product managers you've worked with. I'd love to hear those either in the comments or on Twitter. So please share those with me if you have those ideas. I'd love to be able to share them with product managers I work with. I'd love to be able to take advantage of them myself to become a better product manager. So please share those with me. And again, here's those links again. You can find me all over the place. Please do subscribe. Please do share this video and any other videos you found helpful with other people out there who are either breaking into product, breaking into tech, or who have already been in it and are just looking to level up. So this was Go Tech Yourself, and thank you again. Appreciate it.